Hello, everyone. Today we have with us Ravi Prakash. Ravi Prakash started off as a senior systems executive in CTS. Then Ravi has transitioned to become a business analyst and he worked with Barclays Investment Bank. And then he upped the ante to get into Morgan Stanley and he became vice president over there. And now, today as we speak, he's working with Wissen Technology as a senior principal engineer. So, who better than Ravi to help us understand on what kind of interesting work happens in the space of data science and AI when it comes to a few of the companies which Ravi has worked with? Let's understand from Ravi. Thank you so much, Ravi, for pulling out some time from your busy schedule. And yeah, we would like to hear from you.
Thank you. Thanks, Bharini. Thanks for that introduction. And firstly, it definitely started as a journey working with you, Bharani, helping you solve one of the problems that you were working with, especially for AI Spry. And definitely someone working from the financial services, and then when AI was actually started to boom, or there was an special interest in the industry, that how we can use AI in financial services. I've been able to witness how it's transforming the way to handle transactions, payments, especially in the financial industry where it's highly regulated, because each and every information that an AI spews out or a machine learning algorithm spews out will get heavily audited in order to understand why it's taken that particular decision. And particularly, I was attracted to this area because there was a lot of theoretical knowledge that we would use to understand how an AI works or how a machine learning algorithm works, but to be able to translate into a real world impact, whether it's able to detect fraud or whether it's able to process multiple transactions intelligently, that's something that really pulled me to this space. So I'm definitely looking forward to share whatever I've learned from this entire journey.
Wonderful, wonderful. And for students who are aspiring to get into this field of data science and AI, what would your recommendation be, Ravi, and how should they prepare? Because they are learning the theory, they are working on textbook-based examples and textbook data sets, and they're unable to crack the interviews when they go and attend interviews elsewhere, right? So what kind of suggestions you have for them? How should they work on the practical use cases? And yeah.
Right. So again, coming from financial industry, right? Basically, when we look at the financial industry, there's a lot of legacy set of applications that are being used, typically rule-based systems. And the reason we are moving from all of these rule-based systems is something that AI enables us, or the machine learning model enables us. Say, for example, I'm looking at anomaly detection. When you look for a textbook example, it would say, use one class SVM or use isolation forest or something of that sort. But when you want to translate, say, I'm coming from BTech background, or I'm coming from a technical background, but when business comes in, you have CAs, you have different people who have understanding of the economy. They will have some technical know-how, but not in-depth technical know-how. So you definitely cannot go and say, I'll be using one class SVM or an isolation forest for anomaly detection. What you'll have to do is translate this information into something that they understand better. And to be able to do that, you definitely need to have theoretical knowledge, which your colleges or universities enable you to. But you will only be able to do that translation, say you're able to implement small end-to-end projects by yourself. Just because I'm working in an organization trying to solve the problem doesn't mean that in my own time I don't explore new algorithms. In my own time I don't read new research papers. And just reading is definitely not enough, because I need to implement it. Every time, definitely you will have a question. What is one class SVM? Or do we typically need heavy machine learning models to solve the problem? And it will never happen that you use an extremely complex architecture to solve the problem. You might use a basic statistical formula, say you just want to look at interquartile ranges. So to be able to use simple and small solutions, statistics, probabilities, all of that theoretical knowledge that the college implies has to be translated into real world problems. There are a lot of platforms which gives you hackathons. There's a website called Omdena which looks for doing open source projects where you can actually pitch in and say, I want to participate somewhere, or I would want to pitch in somewhere. Despite having 12 years in the industry, my learning curve has never stopped. I studied with ISB, I studied with Scalar. Right now I'm doing stable diffusion with 100x engineers. So every time there's always something new to learn, every time there's something new to implement. I know there's a barrage of information that comes from everywhere. It's really difficult to judge on what to focus or what to concentrate on. But you can pick a very particular topic, pick a very particular use case, try to solve it. Once you implement it end to end at home, you know how you want to monitor it, you know how you want to tweak it. And the one thing that I've always learned is technical knowledge you'll always have, you'll always get help. But domain knowledge, business knowledge is the add-on or the creativity that you give over your technical knowledge. Because you must have heard this multiple times, garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't have a particular problem, a problem definition, it's always difficult. And when you come from industries, they'll always give you a very tight deadline or a timeline, which is very difficult in the space of machine learning and AI because there's a lot of experimentation that is needed. Even while working with you, Bharani, we had a very broad problem statement. But after discussion with you, we were able to cut down on the scope, understand that this is the particular or the first problem that we're looking to solve, and then slowly expand on that problem. So when you start solving, when you implement these use cases at home, and there are a lot of free platforms giving a lot of free credits to use, to experiment, to try. So maybe if you don't want to invest in maybe learning courses, you can use that money to invest in the infrastructure. And definitely a lot of learning courses also give a lot of these credits so that you can try, implement, and understand. So using all of these platforms, building a very strong portfolio makes you prepared for the industry and ready for all the questions that you might come across from the business.
Absolutely. Well said, Ravi. So for all the people who are watching and trying to understand what Ravi is saying, and a few key things stand out, right? Let me tell those things. Number one, please focus on the domain knowledge also, not just the technical knowledge or your concepts of algorithms, how they work, etc. But what kind of business problem are you solving? And in the due course of solving, what kind of techniques have you implemented? What is the approach that you have followed, right? That is very important. And like Ravi has rightly told, you also need to get into the depth of the domain. Choose a specific domain of your choice, which motivates you, which excites you, because otherwise it might become very boring. Right? Choose that and try to keep doing projects after projects after projects endlessly on that. And Ravi has 12 years of experience and he's saying he's well established now. Despite that, he's saying that I didn't stop my learning curve. I'm continuing to study. So all those people who are into the field of AI, data science also need to continuously keep themselves abreast of the latest happenings. Only that will help us, stay afloat in the toughest of the scenarios. Yeah. So Ravi, do you want to pick up any specific use case in the, companies that you did, which doesn't have any intellectual property tagged to it? Which can be a good start for people to start thinking on those things.
Yeah. I think I can take a very generic use case, maybe not financial industry, just because it's possible that it can be applied across all domains, especially with generating AI being the trend. I'm sure we all come across LLMs almost every single day. And a specific use case of that is RAG. So a very simple problem that is, say, log analysis. There are multiple systems spewing multiple information continuously because the application is up. It's giving you thousands of information. Say, for example, there's a trading platform and you've done a particular trade. Now you want to come down and ask why a specific trade did not execute. Now, in this problem, there are three people or three domains that are specifically impacted. One is your business, second is your development team who has actually built that platform, and third is your support, where the first person comes in and contacts, okay, something is not working right. Now, when it comes to business, say a trading platform might be a simplified one-point solution, but internally for the organization, there are 10 or 15 different systems or applications working to collaborate all of this information. For 10 or 15 different applications, there'll be 50 or 65 infrastructure components that will be working together. There'll be databases, there'll be MQs, there'll be gateways, there'll be so many different things working together. Now, for the support personnel, when the business comes and asks him why this trade didn't execute, now the support personnel has to log into, say, 5 different applications, which is restricted to his department. But there can be multiple departments. So now the support person will have to work with different departments to understand why the trade didn't get executed. He'll have to log into different databases. He'll have to look at different logs to understand why it didn't work. Similarly, for the business person, if he has access to all these 10 or 15 different systems, for him to work out between 10 or 15 different systems why his payment hasn't gone through, especially when it's trade, when it's finance that needs to get executed immediately, it's very time consuming. So what the log is able to do is you create these logs, you have logs from all different systems, you send it to the LLM or the RAG, it's able to summarize an entire workflow of the payment from where it's come, where it's going, where it's stuck. Is it a liquidity problem? Is it an approval problem? That's something that's able to identify. The support personnel can easily just query and answer. Well, best you can actually even give it to the business saying, you can actually check it here why it's not gone through. Now, when it comes to the development aspect here, if there's a new developer who's come in just recently to understand these applications, getting information of 15 applications would take around 6 months to a year for him to get a full end-to-end knowledge. But here, since the workflow of what different systems it's interacting with and application is going through, he's able to immediately understand the end-to-end workflow. And not just that, if he's created some new component and he's doing that deployment, so he can actually easily test it, see if all the exceptions are coming in, if there are any particular problems, how to resolve them, and he can concentrate more on the edge cases rather than the usual cases. So his testing performance also increases. So in a way, your turnaround time increases, your efficiency increases, you save a lot of cost for everyone. And this I've given example of log analysis only for a financial domain, but this can work in a manufacturing domain. This can work in healthcare industry. It can work at many places. So that's one of the things that I had particularly worked on, and it did definitely help with a lot of efficiency.
Perfect, Ravi. I think both these inputs that you have given, one is on how should they keep continuously accruing domain knowledge and working on various projects, and the second thing is about the log analytics, right? These two will give good food for thought for the people who are aspiring to get into the field of data science and AI, and people who are already in this field. For them, one key takeaway would be that don't stop your learning journey. Continuously keep enhancing yourself, because blink of an eye, you have new technologies and new things coming up, right? For you to be respected in the market, you should have sufficient intelligence. Thank you so much, Ravi, for your time. It is really a pleasure to have you here, and all the best for your future, and do stay in touch.
Thank you. Thanks, Bharani. Thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You too.